Welcome everyone to Total War Pharaoh. In this series of videos we'll be going over all the new units Pharaoh is bringing, broken down by both the regional native units recruitable by all factions provided they own territory in that area, and the faction units unique to the individual playable factions in-game. To make things easy to locate, all native unit regions will have their own video and will be sorted into a playlist, and all faction units will be grouped by their overall cultural alignment: Egyptian, Canaanite, and Hittite, and they'll also have their own playlist once the second video for each is uploaded. If there are any changes made to the overall stats and abilities, I'll do my best to add those in a pinned comment in this video. That way it's easy to compare exactly what is different going forward. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the native units you'll be pulling from Canaan proper, the Fenku and Yamhad. This will be the first group with some actual heavy armor, and excellent versatility to deal with both the Hittite juggernauts to their north and the extremely mobile Egyptian forces to the south. You'll be recruiting the Fenku and Yamhad from these regions. Just conquer a bit of territory and you'll be able to snag these units regardless of faction. And they are going to be a great addition to any roster looking for decent mobility while retaining some fairly heavy armor. Bay is going to be the faction leader that begins with the Fenku and Yamhad in his territories, which will provide his forces the armor and chariot crews they sorely lack. Starting off with the negatives you'll want to keep in mind when adding these guys to your lineup. And this faction is really only going to have two that you'll need to counter, and that being a lack of overall damage dealing and armor piercing, outside of your chariot charges and the 2 extra javelins that all of their swordsmen will be packing normally for anti-chariot use. As long as you have situations you can utilize your chariots fully, then you'll easily slaughter most foes, cackling the whole time. Otherwise, your battles are going to be much longer and more focused on you gaining solid flanking attacks on key parts of your rival's army. Onward to the positives. Starting with the fact that your infantry are going to be very dangerous for enemy chariots to approach without taking serious damage or being slowed to a crawl, as all of your swordsmen and javelins are going to come with the Spear in the Spokes activated ability, which will have them attempt to chuck their spears in the enemy charioteer's wheels in an attempt to recreate the scene from the Last Crusade. And even if your foe doesn't have chariots, they'll still have 2 extra armor-piercing javelins to ruin someone's day with. The Fenku and Yamhad are also going to have the Strider trait on all of their light infantry, allowing them to fight and move more freely in tall grass and forests without any penalties, which is fantastic on battlefields in Canaan and Anatolia both, as you'll be dealing with a lot of these terrain types as soon as you leave the sands of Egypt and Sinai. Any unit with traits that help them bypass terrain penalties are going to be an advantage you always want to use when possible. And as I said earlier, the Fenku and Yamhad are also going to be the first group that will get access to units in the Heavy class. Heavy units are going to be incredibly durable in a melee, great at soaking up light arms fire with large shields or just their armor, and they'll also weather a charge from any type of unit much better than your others, bringing even all types of chariots to a dead halt if they're braced. Their job will be to hold the line and draw attention, so your powerful Canaanite chariots can slam in and bring things to a close. This is going to be a very solid all-rounder style roster that really only struggles at dealing with heavy armor on the battlefield. Let me know what you all think about the Fenku and Yamhad. I am going to go ahead and let their units and stat cards roll on through, but I have been at Space was a Total War. Remember to leave a like for the Light God and a sub for the Subphone, and I'll see you all in the next one.